Welcome back friends, this is Ram here and it's 51 tutorial on JavaFX 8. In this tutorial we are going to see how to export database to Excel sheet or how to write database content into a Excel sheet. So let's begin. I will rename this with the export database to Excel, and this is 51st tutorial. So to export database to Excel, I'm going to create one button in the layout, and using that button we are going to export the database into a Excel sheet. So private button, say export to Excel. Now we are going to declare this export in the main method after the delete button. So export to Excel dot new. So this is the new button and give the label as export to Excel. Next we are going to set the font. So export to Excel dot set font. So font dot font, and the family says sans serif, and font size say 15. Next we are going to set set on action method. So export to Excel dot set on action. So start with the lambda expression. Now to read the database content and write into Excel sheet, we are going to fire a query to read the database, and then we are going to declare the Excel sheet properties. So first string query equals to select all from, so our database table name, user, database, then we are going to set the connection. So pst equals to con dot prepare statement. Next, so we have to surround this with the try catch block. So surround block with the try catch block. Now next I'm going to execute the query. So rs equals to pst dot execute the query. Now next, to write the into Excel sheet, we need to add some jars, and that jars are Apache POI jars. We are going to use that jars to write into Excel sheet. So this is the link for Apache POI jars. So you will get the zip file for Apache PI jars. So I have already downloaded that. So this will be POI 3.13 version. So the required lab jar files for our project is POI, OOXML, OXML schemas, and XML beans. If you not found this XML beans here, go to the OOXML library. So now I'm going to import these jars into our project. So go to the project and in project folder add jar. So I'm going to add these POI jars. So first is POI 3.13, OOXML, OXML schemas, and XML beans. Now add these jars to the project. So we have added the jars. So these jars are required to write into a Excel sheet. So next I'm going to create a workbook to write a database content. So XSSF workbook, say workbook wb equals to new XSF workbook. Now fix the import for XSF workbook. Add an import for org.apache py xsf user model.xsf workbook. Now this XSF is valid for or valid from 2007 onward Microsoft Office Excel files, and if you are using old Microsoft Office version, that is 2003 or earlier version, then use HSSF instead of XSSF. So for earlier version use HSSF instead of XSSF. Now I'm going to create a sheet. So XSSF and sheet equal, so sheet equals to wb dot create sheet. So create sheet with the name. So I'm going to add a name to the sheet. So this is user details sheet. So we have given a name to the sheet, that is user details. Now we are going to create a row, that is header row. We are going to add the titles in that header. To do that, we are going to add XSSF row. So XSSF row, say header equals to sheet dot create row, and say this is the first row, so it will be 0th index, and fix the import for XSF row. Now using this XSF row, we are going to add the columns with the different fields. So header dot create cell and say column index. So this is the first column. Now we are going to set the value to the column. So set cell value and say the first is ID. So this will be the user ID as per our database content. Now next, similarly we are going to add some more fields. So this will be the second column or second cell, this is third, and this is the fourth column. So this is for first name, this is the last name, and these are the labels for the column. So and say email. Now next we are going to fetch the database content. Now to do that I'm going to create one while loop. So whenever there is a data, we are going to write that data into a Excel sheet. So first we have declared a Excel workbook, and then sheet with the title. Then we have created a header with these columns: ID, first name, last name, and email. Now we are going to write into the Excel sheet from database. So XSF row, I'm going to create one more row, say row equals to sheet dot create row. Now we are going to create each time a different row for the different database details. So I'm going to create an index variable, and we are going to declare this index as int index equals to 1. So already we have declared our row, first 0th row with the header. Now this is the second row, and in that second row we are going to add the database details. So row dot create cell, and cell say column 0 dot and set cell value, and in that cell value I'm going to fetch the values from the database. So rs dot get string, and column label say ID. Similarly I'm going to fetch the data from another 3 fields: first name, last name, and email. So this is the first name, this is for last name, and email. So in the first column we are going to add the IDs, in the next column we are going to add first name, third column last name, and in the fourth column we are going to add email. Now this is for the only first row. So we are going to add the multiple datas. So to do that I'm going to increase index always by 1. So whenever there will be the next data into the database, we are going to read that database and add into the next row. So the loop will be continue up to the next value in the database. So next we are going to write this data into the Excel sheet. So we have added this data into the workbook. Now we are going to add this data in the Excel sheet using the workbook. To do that, we are going to add file output stream, say file out equals to new file output stream, and I'm going to create a new Excel sheet. So say user details dot excel sx. So XLSX format for after the 2007 version, and before the 2007 it is only XLS. So for before before 2007 version Excel sheets, we need to add XLS. So this is the error because of we need to add a catch statement or catch clause. So add a catch clause for file not found exception, and I'm going to replace this with a multi-catch. Now we are going to write workbook content into our Excel sheet. So to do that, wb dot write into the file out. So we are going to write that into the output file, that is user detail XLS, and again add a catch clause for IO exception. So this is the new catch clause for IO exception. Now next I'm going to close this file out. So after the writing into Excel sheet, we are going to close the file out. Now I'm going to add one dialog box after this. So whenever we click on a button, so if the data is written into the Excel sheet, we are going to print a dialog that user details is exported into a Excel file. So to do that, I'm going to copy one dialog box detail into our export to Excel button. So just change this with the exported in Excel say sheet. So whenever we write any content from in Excel sheet from database, so when operation is completed, we are going to generate a dialog box that user details exported in Excel file. Now next we are going to close this connection. So pst dot close and rs dot close. Now so this is all about export to Excel. That is, we have declared a button to add the database content into the Excel sheet. Next we have fired a query to select all database content, and next we have declared access of workbook and using that we have given a name to the Excel sheet, that is user details. Then after that we have created a header with a 4 column ID, first name, last name and email. Then using the loop we have added the all database values into the corresponding rows. Next we have created a file output stream object. Using that we have clear user details XLS file, and in that file we have written using a workbook, and close the file out. Alert dialog that shows the user details exported in Excel sheet. Then we have closed PST and RS. Now we need to add this Excel export to Excel button into layout. So I'm going to add this button after the combo box. So say export to Excel. Now save this and execute. So this is the export to Excel button which we have added in the layout, and in that we have added the functionality to export the data into Excel sheet from database. So before exporting to Excel I'm going to show you. So this is our project directory where we are going to create the Excel sheet. So now it is not available because we have not exported the database content into the Excel sheet. When we export the details, it's going to create a Excel sheet with the database details. So let's export. So I'm going to click export. So this the message has been generated, that is user details exported in Excel sheet. So I'm going to check whether the details are exported in the database or not. So here we can see the user details.xlsx file is created in the project directory. So I'm going to open this. So these are the details from the database as exported into a Excel sheet. So let's compare these are true or not. So we can check that the details in the table and in the Excel sheet are the same. So whenever we click on export to Excel, it's going to export the database content into the Excel sheet. So when we delete any user or update any user and click on export Excel, it's going to update the or override the Excel sheet. So there is one problem with the Excel sheet, that width of the columns are default. So and one more problem in the coding, I think this is the wrong. So close the Excel sheet and close the application, come to the coding. So we have created email on fourth column, so this is the third, and to customize the column width we are going to add some properties with respective column. So we are going to increase or decrease the column width, or we can set auto size column. For example, sheet dot auto size column. so auto size the column 1, and I'm going to set the column 0, that is ID, as a default. So we are going to auto size the column 1. Similarly, I'm going to auto size column 2. So whenever we auto size the column, so what will be the your label size? With that size the column will be created. So the column width will be with the width of the label. So next I'm going to customize the width for email. So the email has a more width than the names or a label. So sheet dot set column width and say column index 3 and the width, so it is a 256 times 25. So 256 is the character width, so we are going to set the 25 times the character width. Say here 256 is the character width. So we are going to set the email width is as 256 times 25 times 2 character width. Now save this, and one more thing we can do, that we can zoom in and zoom out the text, so or columns in the sheet. So to do that we can add sheet dot set zoom. So it by default it will be 100 and we can zoom up to 400, so say let 150. So this is the scale, zoom scale, so 150%. Scale is 150%. Now save this and run again. And I'm going to click on export to Excel. So data is exported in Excel sheet. Now come in a directory and open the Excel sheet. So we can observe that the width of the, so this is the default width and this is the auto column size. So whenever we set not set anything, so it will take the default width of the column, and when we set auto size column, so it will take the width of the label. So we have set the auto size column for first name and last name, and we have customized width of the email feed, that is 25 times the character width, and we have set the zoom to 150%, so this will be 150% zoom in, and so the data is same as like the in the database. So this is about the how to export database to Excel sheet, and or how to write the database content to Excel sheet. So if you have any query or question about this tutorial, ask me in a comment section, or you can mail me on my email ID, that is alapureram@gmail.com. This is my email ID. And finally, if you really like my work, please like, share and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching this video. See you in the next tutorial.